Peter Griffin might look like a clueless dad with the IQ of a microwave potato, and that's because he is. But behind that vacant stare is a man who has somehow left a staggering number of corpses in his wake. Most of the time, he doesn't even mean to. Other times, he absolutely does. Whether it's out of rage, boredom, or just plain idiocy, Peter's racked up a kill count that no one's talking about. Until now. Let's take a look at the times Peter Griffin actually killed somebody. We start with the episode Mr. Saturday Night, where Peter Griffin's first on-screen kill takes place. During what was supposed to be a wholesome dinner party. Tired of being stuck at the bottom rung of the toy factory ladder, Peter decides the best way to climb the corporate ladder is by whining and dining his boss, Mr. Weed. Somehow, it works. Mr. Weed's charmed by the chaos, he loves the weird family, the talking dog, and Peter's complete disregard for social cues. So much so that he offers Peter a promotion right there at the table.
Mr. Weed, I don't care what the guys at work say.
Well, I'm impressed. In fact, starting Monday, I would like to promote you to head of toy development.
But this is Family Guy, and things can only go downhill at 100 miles per hour. Brian starts choking on a dinner roll. Peter jumps into action like a man who's only ever read half a CPR manual. One miraculously successful Heimlich later, the roll launches straight into Mr. Weed's throat, chokes him, and kills him on the spot.
Brian, quit it. You're embarrassing me here.
Peter, Brian's choking. Do the Heimlich maneuver quick.
Peter freaks out. First, he tries to flush the body down the toilet, then he yells at Lois to stall the cops who show up for a totally routine random dead body search. Because apparently that's a thing in Quahog.
Oh my God, Lois, stall him!
Peter.
Just stall him, Lois!
Then, Death shows up like he's clocking in for a double shift. The news later confirms Mr. Weed choked to death on a dinner roll. No charges are filed against Peter, but in true Family Guy version, the dinner roll is taken into custody. Peter walks away scot-free. One dinner party, one dead boss, the Peter Griffin kill count has officially begun. Peter kills again in the episode Blind Ambition, and this time the deaths come straight from his deep need to feel important. It all begins at the Drunken Clam, where Quagmire is being honored for saving a woman's life with CPR. Horace puts his name on the Wall of Fame. The guys are clapping and everyone's proud of him. Even Cleveland gets a nod for what he used to be, an elite-level auctioneer with the fastest mouth in town before a tragic head injury slowed him down. Joe's catching criminals, Mort's blowing perfect games, and Peter has nothing.
What's wrong, Peter?
It's nothing, Joe. It's all you guys have something to be proud of, you know? Hell, even Cleveland used to be an accomplished auctioneer.
And that hits him hard. At the booth, he starts spiraling. If he died tomorrow, no one would remember a thing. No medals, no fame, not even a weird story. Then Cleveland, trying to help, makes an offhand comment. If Peter jumped off a skyscraper and landed on Joan Cusick, at least people would remember him for something. Peter doesn't laugh but listens very keenly. Later, he climbs onto the roof of the Drunken Clam to declare his name to the world, determined to finally matter. And then, it happens.
You hear that, world? I am gonna do something that people will remember me for. Oh! Oh, God, sorry.
He slips, falls, and crashes directly into Joan Cusick, who's just walking by at the exact wrong moment. There's no dramatic reaction, just a thud. Peter sits up, realizes what just happened, and checks if she's okay. She's not. Joan Cusick is gone. That's Peter's second kill, entirely unplanned but 100% fatal. The episode keeps going, but Peter's mission to be remembered doesn't stop. Next, he decides to break a world record by swallowing the most nickels. The only problem is he actually swallows them. The result? Full-on blindness. His optic nerves shut down from heavy metal poisoning, and now he can't see a thing. Instead of using Brian, a literal talking dog who already lives in the house, Peter gets a guide dog, a real one, trained and competent. But unfortunately for everyone involved, it can't talk. Later, he decides to head back to the Drunken Clam, completely unaware that the building is already on fire. The guide dog sees the flames and refuses to go in. Peter, misreading the situation, decides to tie the dog to what he thinks is a parking meter. Except, it's not a parking meter, it's a homeless man sitting peacefully on the sidewalk.
Come on, girl, I'm thirsty.
And just like that, the homeless man is yanked across the pavement, slammed into traffic, and very likely killed instantly. That's kill number 3. Not intentional, but fatal, all the same. So in this one episode, Peter Griffin crushes Joan Cusick and indirectly kills a homeless man with the help of a confused dog and a stomach full of coins. It started as a quest for legacy, but ended with 2 bodies. Peter strikes again in the episode The Perfect Castaway. But this time, the body count comes out of nowhere and fast. After being stranded at sea with the guys for months, Peter finally makes it back home only to discover that Lois has married Brian. She thought Peter was dead. Brian has been paying the bills, and while nothing physically happened between them yet, the emotional betrayal is enough to send Peter spiraling.
I'm not quite sure how to tell you this, but I got remarried.
What the hell? Who was there for you?
Honey, I'm home.
He moves out, heartbroken, and starts plotting how to win his family back. At the Clam, he claims he's smart enough to come up with a plan. So smart, in fact, that he once built a time machine. What follows is a classic Family Guy cutaway and also a full-on massacre. Peter drives the DeLorean directly into a crowded store. The impact causes an instant explosion. Flames everywhere. Screaming people run out of the building completely engulfed. Peter calmly observes the chaos and assumes that this is just how life looked in the 50s.
All right, past, here I come. Everybody in 1955 was on fire.
No attempt to help from Peter, not even remorse. That's an estimated 10 to 15 bodies all gone in a flash. Peter adds more bodies to the list in the episode Peterotica, and this time the casualties come from a brainstorming session. After his erotic novels spark a lawsuit, Peter's investor, who also happens to be Lois's dad, loses everything as his accounts are frozen. Carter Peterschmidt goes from billionaire to broke overnight and ends up living with the Griffins. Peter decides to help Carter get his money back. Not with money, because obviously he doesn't have any, but with a compressive brainstorming session. And for that, he will need what he calls thinking grenades.
My God, is this what my whole life is destined to be? Hand me my thinking grenades.
He lobs one outside of the house and listens calmly as someone screams that a man is dead. Encouraged, he throws some more.
Oh my God, he's dead! What's happening?
Although we're not shown on screen, at least 3 people are taken out in the process. Peter never checks or even reacts, just sits there in full concentration using live ammunition to solve a problem. The grenades worked, and so did the body count. Peter continues with the onslaught in the episode Peter's Two Dads, and this time, it's family. It's Meg's 17th birthday, and Peter decides to be the party clown. Literally, he puts on a costume and does all sorts of party clown shenanigans. He even grabs a unicycle and turns the entire event into a circus no one asked for. His father, Francis, is not impressed. He scolds Peter in front of everyone, calls him a fool, and demands he stop the act. Peter, being Peter, decides to double down.
All right, this is gonna blow you guys away.
Grandpa! Oh my God!
Maybe you better call 2 ambulances.
He attempts a grand finale, riding a unicycle down the staircase, but physics and alcohol have never been on Peter's side. He crashes hard and directly into his father. The unicycle somehow finds itself in a very uncomfortable position on Peter's body. Meanwhile, Francis is on the floor, motionless. At the hospital, doctors say the injuries are fatal. Every rib is shattered, the lung is punctured, the spleen is gone. Francis manages a final insult with his last breath, and then he dies.
Dad, I'm so sorry I broke all your ribs and busted your spleen and punctured your lung.
Come closer. You're a fat, stinking drunk.
Peter Griffin, ladies and gentlemen. He's successfully unalived his father. The body count is rising. Peter racks up more casualties in the episode Peter's Daughter, where the victims include both a high schooler and his own child. It begins with a flood hits Quahog and the Griffins are forced upstairs. With water rising fast, Peter sends Meg downstairs to grab something from the fridge. She nearly drowns and ends up in a coma. At the hospital, Peter finally realizes how horribly he's treated her over the years. We see a flashback montage of Peter terrorizing Meg in the most unhinged ways imaginable, including one where he just casually pulls out a gun and shoots her for no reason.
Hi, Dad.
Meg survives the coma and makes a full recovery, and for once, Peter actually tries to be a decent dad. He becomes overprotective, showers her with compliments, and even receives compliments from Meg about how he defended her from bullies. Which brings us to Connie D'Amico. In a flashback, we see her mocking Meg in the school hallway. Peter shows up, asks politely for her attention, then proceeds to smash her skull into a wall-mounted fire extinguisher like he's trying to break a piñata.
Hey, Meg.
Hi, Connie.
Say, can you do me a favor? You see that fire extinguisher there?
Dad, that's enough!
Meg begs him to stop. Peter doesn't listen. Connie's body slumps to the ground with no signs of life as Meg walks Peter away. Just another dead teenager and one proud father. Well, of course Meg is still alive, but Peter did shoot her. In the chest, at close range, with zero provocation. The fact that she walked away from it doesn't change reality. If it happened in any other scene, we would be adding her to the kill count without hesitation. So whether you want to count it as one confirmed kill and one attempted, or 2 full kills that got undone by cartoon logic, the damage is done. Peter Griffin put both Connie and Meg in the ground at some point during this episode. Peter levels up his crimes in the episode Tales of a Third Grade Nothing, where he takes out an entire hospital just to use the bathroom. It starts when Peter gets a taste of the executive restroom at work, a secluded location with a very peaceful environment. That's all it takes. From that moment on, he becomes obsessed with getting promoted. And it's not for the pay or even the title, but just so he can legally use that toilet again.
Good morning, Lois.
Wow, Peter, since when do you get so dressed up for work? Well, it would certainly be great if you got a promotion.
Lois, I am doing this for the bathroom.
He starts putting in extra effort dressing up for work, even cleaning his office like he's trying to get a gold star in kindergarten. But his boss Angela is not convinced. His past screw-ups are hard to ignore, and he has a long way to go before earning any trust. Peter doubles down. He shows up to Angela's office one day holding what looks like a detonator. Excitedly, he tells her to look out the window and points to a large Anheuser-Busch billboard sitting right next to the Children's Hospital. He hits the button and it all goes wrong.
What do you want, Griffin?
Angela, look out your window. Well, watch this. Oh, God.
Instead of the beer billboard, the Children's Hospital explodes. Flames erupt, smoke fills the sky. Peter watches in a stunned face as the building collapses. He starts to panic, praying out loud and begging for some kind of miracle to undo what just happened.
My God, this is horrible. Bless their Oh, okay, yeah. Here we go.
Then, the fire finally reaches the billboard he meant to hit in the first place, and it goes up in flames. And just like that, Peter calms down. Everything worked out. From his point of view, mission accomplished. It's easily one of the worst things he's ever done, and he barely blinks once it's over. Over 100 innocent kids gone in seconds because Peter wanted a private toilet and pressed the wrong button. Peter Griffin kills again in the episode The Splendid Source, and this time, it's not just a person or two, it's not even 10. It's an entire secret island of scholars, guards, agents, and probably the world's last functioning card catalog. All wiped out, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. It starts with something simple. Chris comes home from school and casually drops a bomb, that he got suspended for telling a dirty joke. At the school, in a meeting with the principal, Chris says he got the joke from Quagmire.
Mr. and Mrs. Griffin.
We promise you it won't happen again.
Mr. Quagmire told it to me.
Oh, I should have figured.
Peter starts asking questions because there's no way Quagmire, of all people, came up with something that funny on his own. Quagmire says he heard it from Bruce. Bruce heard it from some bartender in Virginia. And just like that, Peter becomes obsessed. He rounds up the boys and declares they're going on a quest to find the source of all dirty jokes.
A quest, Joe. We go on a quest to find the source of the world's dirty jokes.
So am I.
They start traveling, chasing this joke through bartenders, bellhops, and backrooms. Eventually, they hit a dead end, or so they think. This is when they're ambushed, thrown in a van, and taken on a long flight to God knows where. When they land, they're met by men in suits and led into a massive building hidden deep in the jungle. Inside, they find something strange, a massive library filled with experts and scholars working around the clock. Turns out, it's not just some random jungle compound. It's the source of every dirty joke ever told. And Peter is standing in the middle of it.
What the hell is this place?
I am the Dean.
The Dean of what?
Dean of the Secret Order of Dirty Joke Writers.
The Dean gives them a tour, showing off the joke writing operation like it's a Willy Wonka factory for punchlines. Peter's in awe. He wants to tell everyone back home. That's when the Dean drops the twist. They're not allowed to leave. They've seen too much. The island has to stay a secret. Peter doesn't take it well. They're locked in a cell while the guards figure out what to do with them. So naturally, they hatch an escape plan involving distractions, improvisation, and very little actual planning. And somehow, it works.
You dick! What's going on in here?
Come on, let's get out of here.
But the moment they make it outside the cell, they're caught again. This time, the Dean is done playing games. He orders the guards to kill them. Things look grim, until an old writer stumbles out of the shadows. After decades of labor, he's finally finished writing the greatest dirty joke in history, and then he dies. Peter grabs the paper like it's the One Ring. The Dean demands it back, but Peter threatens to destroy it. Somehow, this bluff works. The guards drop their guns, and Peter, in classic Peter fashion, turns this tense moment into a cartoon escape scene by tossing a candle to the ground as they escape.
Give me that.
Not on your life. Take one step closer and the paper gets it.
The fire spreads instantly. Like, this place is soaked in gasoline or something. The Dean panics, guards scream as everything is consumed in flames, entire wings of the temple explode. Hundreds of people, the very backbone of comedy's filthiest punchlines, burn to death as Peter and the guys run to a plane to get away.
Put it out! Put it out! Oh my God! It's heading for the first dead baby joke ever written!
They hop on a plane and Quagmire takes the controls. No one speaks for a moment as they fly away. The island behind them is nothing but smoke. It took 100 years to build, and Peter destroyed it in one afternoon because he couldn't just enjoy a joke like a normal person. Now, was this technically premeditated murder? Not really, but if you burn down a secret island full of people and don't bother checking for survivors, that's not an accident either. This was mass extinction because Peter never apologizes or even looked back. One of the greatest underground institutions in human history is gone forever. All because Peter Griffin wanted to know where his son's punchline came from. And the final punchline? After all that destruction, the greatest dirty joke in the world, the one that cost over 500 lives, we never even get to hear it. Peter Griffin causes absolute chaos in the episode New Kidney in Town, and all it takes is a few cans of Red Bull. What starts as a tired moment at the Drunken Clam turns into one of the deadliest caffeine binges in television history. It begins with Peter looking completely drained. He blames Brian, who kept him up all night by barking at dogs in the neighborhood. Quagmire and Joe suggest he try an energy drink. That's when the bartender offers him his first ever Red Bull. And just like that, we have reached the point of no return.
Red Bull? What the hell is Red Bull?
So, what do you think?
One sip in, Peter becomes a one-man tornado. He bolts home, tears down the curtains, rearranges the furniture, and announces he just took a round trip to New York for no reason. His eyes are twitching, his speech is faster than radio static, and when Chris asks to try it, Peter is ecstatic. He hands his son 5 full cans like it's candy on Halloween. Then comes the real disaster. Peter signs up for The Price is Right, and when it's time to spin the famous wheel, Peter's Red Bull-fueled adrenaline turns a simple spin into an industrial death trap. He yanks the wheel with so much force it turns into a turbine.
Everybody, welcome back to The Price is Right. Time to spin the wheel.
As the wheel begins to wobble violently, Peter's asked to say hi to a loved one and he lists every single person he knows at warp speed. Meanwhile, the entire studio is holding its breath, because what happens next is nothing short of mass manslaughter. The wheel unhinges from its axis, launches into the air, and barrels straight into the audience. It takes out an entire row of seated guests like bowling pins. We're talking at least 40 people crushed in one spin.
Whoa, paramedics, come on down!
Peter, still high on energy drink fumes, sees the carnage and shouts, "Paramedics, come on down!" like it's all part of the show. And that's the moment you realize this man should never be left alone with caffeine or industrial machinery. Over 40 innocent audience members gone in seconds, all because Peter Griffin discovered Red Bull. Peter kills again in the episode Turban Cowboy, and this time the body count is well over 100. Peter and the guys decide to go skydiving to break out their boring routines. They jump out of the plane one after another, screaming with excitement and adrenaline. In typical Peter fashion, he turns the jump into a game and dares the others to see who can hold off pulling their parachute the longest. Joe plays along, Quagmire pulls his chute first, Peter tries to hold out against Joe, but clearly, Joe's a daredevil with nothing to lose.
I'm dead already, Peter. You're looking at a dead man.
And then, just as the thrill peaks, Peter drops a cutaway that takes us into something far darker. He says the free fall reminds him of the time he won the Boston Marathon, which sounds like a proud memory until we see how he won. Peter is behind the wheel of his car, speeding through the marathon course like it's a demolition derby. He plows through a dense crowd of runners, mowing them down without a shred of hesitation.
I haven't felt a rush like this since I won that marathon.
The camera cuts to a news interview with Bob Costas, who is somehow treating Peter like an actual athlete. Peter, completely unfazed, proudly explains his strategy. He says he just got in his car and drove it, and when there was a guy in his way, he killed him.
I'm Bob Costas, here with Boston Marathon winner Peter Griffin.
I'll tell you, Bob, I just got in my car and drove it, and when there was a guy in my way, I killed him.
In my opinion, this is one of the darkest cutaways the show has ever done, and somehow Peter is completely smug about it. It's just another bizarre chapter in his long list of accomplishments. Over 100 marathoners dead, and Peter Griffin walks away with a medal. There's another Peter Griffin murder in the episode Mom's the Word, although this time it's by complete accident. Still, death follows him like a second shadow. After his mother passes away, Peter is left emotionally adrift. In an effort to reconnect with her memory, he begins spending time with Evelyn, an elderly friend of his late mom. At first, their bond seems sweet. Peter finds comfort in Evelyn's company, describing her as his above-ground mom. But things quickly get uncomfortable when Evelyn crosses a line and kisses him. Peter is horrified and confused.
You know, Evelyn, I'm having such a good time with you.
Oh, Peter. You know, sometimes I think your mother brought us together.
Trying to sort it all out, he visits his mom's grave, hoping to clear his mind and maybe feel close to her spirit again. That's when Evelyn shows up, apologizes sincerely, and the two reconcile. They share a heartfelt hug, but in true Peter fashion, he squeezes her a little too tight. Bones snap and Evelyn collapses. She's gone.
I missed my mom so much, and I guess maybe I sort of used you as a replacement. Evelyn?
Peter panics as a cemetery worker walks by. Peter quickly blames the body on someone else's tragedy and then sprints away like nothing ever happened. Intentional or not, that is another life ended in Peter's arms. He came for closure but left with the corpse instead. We see more murders in the episode Dearly Deported, and this one digs deeper into a disturbing pattern, and that's his growing record of vehicular manslaughter. After Chris's girlfriend Isabella is deported, the family travels to Mexico in a surprisingly wholesome rescue mission. But once they reach her, things spiral. They're robbed by a cartel, stranded in the desert, and even attacked by coyotes. Chris fights off the animals and gets bitten, proving he's far more dependable than anyone expected. Lois points out how useless she and Peter have been throughout the ordeal, especially as parents. Peter agrees, adding the only responsibility Chris ever handled was taking care of his traffic tickets.
Oh my God, Peter, we did nothing.
Up till now, the only thing he could take care of was my traffic tickets.
We cut to a flashback where Chris shows up at the police station pretending to be Peter, only to be arrested for vehicular manslaughter. While Chris pleads innocent, Peter sits smugly in his car outside watching his son take the fall. And then, just to hammer it home, Peter puts the car in gear and plows through a row of outdoor diners, wiping out at least 15 more people in cold blood.
What? No, I'm a good boy.
15 more lives gone, vehicular manslaughter was not a one-time mistake. Lastly, there is another Peter Griffin murder in the episode Take My Wife. His body count may be low in this one, but the execution is classic Peter Griffin. After Lois drags the entire friend group to what they thought was a luxury Bahamas getaway, things go south quickly. The retreat turns out to be a couple's counseling session, and before anyone can storm off, a full-blown island revolution erupts. Gunfire breaks out, chaos spreads, and everyone scrambles for safety.
Run! Everybody run!
As they run for their lives, Peter spots a small plane flying overhead and gets the bright idea to signal for help. But Peter, being Peter, that signal is a flare gun perfectly aimed at the aircraft. The plane explodes mid-air, and the pilot drops dead right at their feet.
Look, we gotta get the attention of that plane.
Just like that, a desperate cry for help becomes another murder on Peter's massive list. Peter Griffin is not just a walking disaster, but a human catastrophe wrapped in cargo shorts and poor judgment. From car crashes to marathons to remote islands, Peter's left a trail of bodies that would make a warlord blush. And no, we haven't even included his never-ending giant chicken fights, which alone could account for death tolls close to World War numbers. We've captured as many of his deaths as possible, but if we miss one of your favorites, please drop it in the comments. Because, at this point, Peter's kill count is a team effort.